Hi beautiful, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I wanted to play around with the new eyeshadow palette that I discovered from Mellow Cosmetics. I believe that they recently came out with this palette and this is called Sinopia. I know that they have another palette which is called Treasure Chest, but when I swatched it, it didn't really wow me because the colors are mostly shimmery and they're like more of a highlighting kind of shades, whereas this one has got a mixture of pop of color, your transition shades, and also the shimmers that you could ever need in one palette. I purchased this eyeshadow palette from Farmers. You can purchase Mellow Cosmetics from their official website and they ship internationally. So I paid $40 for this eyeshadow palette. This is what it looks like. It comes with a sleeve packaging, which I thought is really good. It lessens the recyclable rubbish that we have, and this is what it looks like off the packaging. I can't actually describe this color. It's like a red violet kind of color. It looks very different. It looks pretty. And then this is what the inside looks like. It comes with the plastic film. And these are the shades. So it comes with 12 shades. You have 7 matte eyeshadows and you have 5 shimmer shades. And oh my god, I feel like the star of this whole palette is this shade right here, which is just a nice royal blue now that I'm looking at it. And it also comes with a mirror, which I personally don't like. I feel like they could have made the mirror a little bit bigger. But if you're doing your eye makeup look, this kind of mirror is fine. I wouldn't really recommend using this kind of mirror if you're doing your whole face because you can't really see your whole face, and also like it's, I don't know, it's kind of weird. But then the packaging itself is thin enough to carry for traveling, like it will not really take a lot of space. You have all your warm shades and you have that one somewhat neutral shade that can tone down everything. So we are going to play with this eyeshadow palette today. I am going to first swatch the shimmers because we only have like 5. Personally, even looking at the pan right here, birch and cinnamon kind of look the same. Just cinnamon is a little bit warmer than birch, but then when I swatch it, it kind of looks similar. So I feel like they could have at least inserted another darker transition matte shade, or even like a darker shimmery shade, just to break those like these two apart, the cinnamon and birch, because you can either have one or the other but not both of them. That's the only complaint that I have. But these are the shimmers. They are so pigmented and very soft. Again, I'm terrible at swatching things, so just keep that in mind. These are the swatches, and surprisingly enough, they turned out a lot better than how I usually swatch things. So these are the shimmer shades right here. As you can see, they're very shimmery. They're kind of metallic in a way, but they're very smooth and pigmented. Now that I'm looking at birch and cinnamon, they're almost identical. So that's like my only worry again about this eyeshadow palette. Overall, the shimmer shades are very, very pigmented. I feel like you only need a tiny bit or like one swipe on your eyes. You don't even need like a fix plus or a sticky base to begin with, which is really good, and I'm actually loving that kind of factor when it comes to eyeshadows, because the less steps you take, the better, especially when you're traveling. So now I am going to swatch the matte shades. I'm only going to swatch a few of them because some transition shades in this eyeshadow palette won't really show up against my skin because I have that medium tan skin tone, so it'll be hard to tell. So I am going to swatch Brick, which is this nice red orange shade, or brick orange. Oh, it's so pretty. And then we have Merlot. And then I am going to swatch Dust. I'm not going to swatch Nudie because I know that it won't really show up on my skin. And last but not the least, I'm going to swatch Sinopia. So these are the swatches. Brick and Sinopia has got the same tone, except Brick is a little bit lighter than Sinopia. And looking at it now, I feel like all the shades are somewhat the same, except for Dust. But then, you know, it can change on the eyes. And last but not the least, I'm going to swatch this shade called Blush, which barely shows up on my skin once again. Oh, it's not bad. It's showing up. So here are the swatches of the matte shades. Again, they're not the best swatches in the world, but Merlot is actually swatching so pigmented and very smooth to the touch. The darker brown, which is Dust, is a little bit patchy and a bit powdery, same as Brick. But the other three shades, such as Blush, Dust, Merlot, and Sinopia, they swatch alright. So I'm actually interested to see how they will perform on my eyes. I have not done my face yet because I really want to see if there's any fallouts in this eyeshadow palette, because they're a little bit powdery even when with just swatching. I am going to prime my eyes with this Too Faced Born This Way multi-sculpting concealer because I want the eyeshadows to show up. I'm going to set my eyes with this off-white shade, which is called Pecan. The eyeshadow is a little bit powdery. I don't know if you could see, but that doesn't really bother me too much. Like for me, powdery eyeshadows are fine as long as they blend properly on the skin and it gives me pigment that I want. But for some people, it could be an issue. So just bear that in mind. For transition shade, I am going to take this shade called Blush. And again, they're a little bit powdery and pigmented, so make sure to tap off the excess. And I'm going to grace that all over my crease, above the crease, and maybe a little bit on the lid as well. This shade is blending out alright, but then it's not like the kind of intensity that I want, so I think I am going to go and use the shade Sinopia, which is this one right here. Deepen up the crease area a little bit. Again, tap off the excess. What I want to do is to go over it with the shade Merlot and kind of deepen it up a little bit more. Again, it's very pigmented, so make sure to tap off the excess. And I'm going to go back and use Blush and blend everything. And now I'm gonna jump in and use Dust because I want the outer V to be a little bit more deeper. These eyeshadows are blending out very smoothly. I don't have a lot of fallout on my face, which I instantly expected because of how they are swatching and how they feel. As you can see, there's a lot of powderiness that's happening on the palette, but on my face it doesn't really translate as much. And then I am gonna go and use Merlot again to blend that. Now for the middle of the lid, I might go and use Birch and apply that on my finger and focus that on the middle part. I'm not going to use any concealer or wet the brush or any primer at all because I really want the intensity to show up. So that's what it looks like. And I'm going to pat that. Oh, dead. Look how pigmented that is. And I just used my finger. I'm going to use a brush to have a precise application. I want to intensify a little bit more, so I'm going to pop a little bit of champagne on top of it. For the brow bone highlight, I am gonna go and use the shade Pecan again. So I'll just quickly put on some lashes and then pop on my base, and I'll come back and we will do the lower lash line together. For the lower lash line, what I'm going to do is to actually go and use the shade Sinopia and put that a little bit lower on my lower lash line. I'm going to go and use the shade Merlot to deepen up the outer V a little bit. I really want to use the blue in the eyeshadow palette, so I am going to pick up the shade Blue Moon with a smudger brush and pack that on the lower lash line. And I am going to go back and use Merlot once again and try to blend that. For the inner corner highlight, we are going to use the shade Champagne, which is that one right there. I'm going to tightline my waterline with a black liner because I want it to be really smoky. And we are going to use the Champagne shade for a face highlight as well, because I typically do that with eyeshadow palettes. So it's quite pigmented, and we'll just be gentle with it. It's a little bit shimmery, but it looks so pretty on the skin. Ooh, that's a good highlight actually. It's a little bit shimmery, so what you can do is to put a little bit of powder on top. I'm going to go back to my favorite lipstick, and that's the Velvet Teddy. So I'm going to line my lips with the Essence Lip Liner in Honey Bun and then Velvet Teddy on top of it. And I'm going to put a little bit of this witchery gloss on top. Here is the final look. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. My overall thoughts with this palette: this eyeshadow palette is actually really good for the price you pay. The quality is great, it's very pigmented. You need a tiny bit or little to no primer to use this eyeshadow at all. It's very powdery, just keep that in mind, so tapping the excess would help. But overall, you could easily create a more bold look or like a day to night look if you wish. If you're not into that kind of warm rose gold slash red with a little bit of blue color, this palette will probably not be for you. I quite like how the eyeshadow look I came up with turned out, and yeah, I'm obsessed with it. So please make sure to subscribe to my channel for more updates and follow me on Instagram, where I'll be doing like a 1 palette 3 looks kind of series on Instagram. And I will catch you on the next video. Bye!